guys, welcome to today's video and welcome on into my beauty stash. One of you all requested this video and it is going to be the 10 current favorite foundations that I have in my stash. If you guys want to see what topped my list, keep on watching. Alright guys, so you all know I try lots of makeup, specifically foundations. Foundation reviews are probably one of my most favorite things to do here on my channel, aside from just trying new makeup in general. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you like to see new makeup reviews, do me a favor and click on that subscribe button and hit the bell next to it. That way you'll be notified every time I do drop a new video. And if you're a fan of foundation reviews or you just want to see what made my top 10 list, give this video a thumbs up before you go. So I am 40 years old and I have normal to oily skin. The foundations that I'm going to share with you, I pretty much have reviews and wear tests on all of them. So my foundation playlist will be linked in a pinned comment in case you want to check out more detailed reviews on any of the foundations I'm going to mention. But I don't necessarily just go for foundations that are intended for my normal to oily skin type. I like to try them all. So just know that my opinion is going to be based on my skin type, my current skin concerns, which, you know, I do suffer from minor acne scars and discoloration on the sides of my cheeks. I have, you know, some little fine lines creeping in. I'm almost 41. I'll be 41 in a couple weeks. So just keep that in mind as we are going through this foundation top 10 list. And I do want to mention I have foundations in all price ranges. I try them all, so you don't have to. And these are going to be in no particular order. I didn't really want to rank them. These are just 10 of what I think are the best foundations currently in my stash. Let's start with something from the drugstore. This is the new and improved L'Oreal True Match Super Blendable Foundation. The shade that I have in this one is shade N2. Love that they added a pump with this one, and I'm gonna swatch out some of these foundations. I don't know how many I'll get to keep on my hand at one time, but at least so that you can see what N2 looks like. For reference, I usually go more for fair to light foundations in the neutral undertone range. Sometimes I can get away with warm or yellow, and even in some shades I can get away with cool, but I like the shade on me, shade N2. This is a really nice, I would say, long wearing medium coverage foundation that you can buy for like 14 bucks at the drugstore, something around there, 14, 15 bucks. This was reformulated so that it has, I think, more skincare ingredients, and this does not have SPF the way the original did, but at least we're getting a pump. I don't mind it not having SPF. I always go in with a separate SPF, as I hope you guys do as well, but this has proven to be a great foundation. You're gonna get the longevity, you're gonna get decent coverage, and it's gonna look great. This is definitely a true natural finish foundation. So from drugstore, let's jump to high end. And one of my new favorites is this one from Lancome. You're gonna see another Lancome foundation make my top 10 list today. This is their recent foundation, and it's the Tint Idole Ultra Wear Care and Glow Foundation. Now I have this foundation in two different shades. The shade I have here, I'm gonna swatch for you guys, is shade 125W. Originally, when I bought this foundation and reviewed it, I had gotten like shade 210. It was just too dark for me. So there you can see Lancome and then L'Oreal next to it. This has, I think, a little bit of a peach undertone when you compare it to the L'Oreal, but this definitely lasts all day long. I don't have a problem with this on my normal to oily skin type. I do make sure that I powder, especially my T-zone. My nose is the oiliest place on my face, but this will most definitely get me a good 10 to 12 hours of wear. Lancome foundations tend to last a good time on my skin, and it provides beautiful coverage, a nice glow without being too much glow. If you guys just watched my Tarte Maracuja Juicy Glow foundation review, then these are not the same. That type of glow is really like almost like a highlighter type of glow, that particular foundation. And I do have another foundation in this list that I'll talk about in a minute that is very similar to that one from Tarte. The glow you get from this one is more of like a lit from within type of glow, and it's definitely full coverage and it's just long wearing. That is one thing that I love about Lancome foundations. While they have gone up in price recently, I mean, what else hasn't? They do last a good while on the complexion, and this is one of my new favorites from Lancome. All right, so next let's talk about that foundation that is very similar to the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Glow foundation that was just dropped. This one is from Nabla. This has been in my stash for about 3 years, almost 3 years maybe, and this is their Skin Realist Beautifying Tinted Balm. This has hyaluronic acid. This is going to give your complexion an insane glow, but it's gonna wear really well. So those of you, and I have shade light 2 in this one, those of you with full-on oily skin, I would pass on this one. I think it's gonna be too much of a glow, and you can see it right here. But if you powder down, the same with that new one from Tarte, the Maracuja Juicy Glow, if you powder down, you're gonna be okay. But if you're full on oily, I think it's gonna be too much glow for you. But I think if you have dry skin, normal to dry skin, this is a beautiful, lightweight, light to medium coverage foundation. And if you want that summertime glow, do this with a little bit of cream bronzer on top. Perfection. It's beautiful, but this is definitely one I need to powder down my T-zone. If I can retouch during the day, I will with some powder, but it's just beautiful. I've enjoyed this foundation from Nabla so much. I don't have a lot of Nabla in my stash. I don't get to buy a lot of Nabla, but this is one thing that I 10 out of 10 recommend. If you've never tried the brand before, start here and pick up one of their eyeshadow palettes, those cutie eyeshadow palettes. Thank me later. All right, now let's go back to the drugstore, and this one from Revlon. This is their Illuminance Skin Caring Foundation. I have 2 different shades in this one. That is because I originally picked up the wrong shade. This is the wrong shade for me. I don't know where I have the new shade, but this one is shade 201. This is definitely gonna be too dark for me, but I just wanna swatch it. That way you can see it next to the other foundation. So here is 201. This is gonna give your complexion a beautiful glow. I think that this is similar to this one from Lancome. So if you want maybe like a little bit of a dupe for the Lancome, you don't want to spend the 52 bucks that I think this one is, spend the $18 and try this one from Revlon. It provides a beautiful coverage. It's more along the lines of a medium to full coverage foundation. And I remember when I wear tested this for the first time, usually on my first day of wearing a foundation, I don't add any primer, powder, or setting spray, and that usually doesn't work out that great. But with this foundation, for some reason, even though it's an illuminating foundation, it wore and it looked so good for the 10 hours that I wore it. This Revlon foundation is probably, in my opinion, their best yet. I think, you know, I know Revlon has been going through it, a little bit of financial troubles, but so many of you have said that you've picked this up and you've been enjoying it. The shades are a little tricky to get right. Like I said, this is not my shade. This is going to be maybe more of a summer shade for me, but I would definitely check it out. And if they have it in stores at Ulta or somewhere where you can get maybe a swatch or a sample, definitely go that route, because Revlon did a fantastic job with this. Does this one have SPF? No, it doesn't have SPF, but it has 5% squalene and it has hyaluronic acid. This is going to be beautiful for those of you with dry skin. If you're full on oily, you could try this, but again, you're going to want to make sure you powder down and go in with your favorite matte primer. But if you've been wanting to try something new from Revlon, this one right here is a winner. All right, next let's talk about skin tints, and I have 2 that are making this top 10 list. The first one is from Tula, and this is their first time dipping into the foundation pool. This is their Radiant Skin Brightening Serum Skin Tint, and it does have SPF 30. I have the shade 4 in this one. I picked this up in store at Ulta. I believe that's where it launched first. I love this stuff. This is one of my favorite like tinted sunscreens, skin tints. It provides, I would say, a good medium coverage, maybe slightly on the lighter side of medium coverage, but it just wears so well for so long on my normal to oily skin. I don't remember how many shades this comes in. I think it's more along the lines of a limited shade range just because it is a skin tint, but it could come in about maybe 15 different shades, something like that. It's very forgiving. The shades are very forgiving. It's packed full of amazing skincare ingredients, but the main thing about this is it's going to give coverage, enough coverage for a day-to-day wear, and it's going to last. This has been one of my favorites the last few months that I've had it, and again, this is the first time Tula is giving us any type of a makeup product. I'm hoping that they're going to kind of inch their way into the makeup field and maybe do a little bit of a cream bronzer, a cream blush, maybe some tinted lip balm if they don't have one already. But I do use Tula skincare. I have their face wash. I just used it this morning. It comes in a blue tube. I've used that for so long. I use it primarily in the morning. Love that stuff so much. There's just a lot from the brand that I do enjoy, and this skin tint is definitely one of them. Now for a drugstore skin tint that has definitely made top 10 lists here in my stash in the past, this one from Wet n Wild, their Tinted Hydrator. This isn't going anywhere. This is $6. This stuff is amazing. I wore this the other day. It has hyaluronic acid, it also has squalane, and it is oil free. I have two shades in this one. The shade I pulled out to try out for you guys is shade Fair. Fair is going to be the better shade match for me. I do have the shade Light. That was, I think, the first shade that I had purchased, and that is just a little too dark for me, especially right now. So here's Wet n Wild, and here's Tula next to it. This stuff covers and lasts. And if you're full on oily, if you're normal to oily like me, even if you're dry skin, this is amazing stuff. I would say you get on a good medium, maybe to the higher side of medium coverage with this Tinted Hydrator from Wet n Wild. But out of all the Wet n Wild foundations that I've tried over the years, this Tinted Hydrator is some awesome stuff. I don't remember off the top of my head how many shades this comes in, but you can pretty much find this wherever Wet n Wild is sold. I know I've always seen it whenever I go to Five Below. They have them there, and I could have gotten this one from Five Below, but I love this stuff. You get 0.9 fluid ounces of product. You can find it between $5 and $6 depending on where you're gonna pick it up, but this is just so good. If you haven't tried Tinted Hydrator, which I know is probably very few of you, because a lot of you have said this stuff is amazing, you need to try this. You need to try this and then come back and tell me how much you love it. Now we're gonna go back to high end, and one of my most favorite foundations is from a brand I trust when it comes to complexion products. Luxury brand, but they do produce amazing complexion products, and I'm talking about Dior and their Forever Skin Glow Foundation. I also have the matte version. I love the matte version, but I'm wanting some glow right now, so that's why I'm giving the glow version. That's why I'm putting it in the top 10 spot over the matte, but just know I think they're both equally amazing. The shade I have in this one is 1W, although I do think I should have purchased 1N. 1N is typically what I go for when it comes to like concealer or powder or anything, and you'll see it right now on the swatch. So this is shade 1W. I think it's a little too warm for me. I definitely think 1N would have been the perfect match for me. So just keep that in mind in case you're, wanting to kind of shade match, or I know a lot of you have said we're like the similar skin tone, so you always want to see which shade I get. I would go down a shade and get 1N if you're along the similar skin tones as I am. This is a foundation that I think is good for any skin type. Oily, full on dry. This is just one of those foundations that looks good and wears well all day. Like the Lancome foundations, Dior foundations, they're gonna get you through the workday and beyond. It's reliable. Yes, it's expensive, but it does come in quite a few different shades. I want to say there's like 40 different shades to choose from, so I think you can definitely find yourself somewhere within that shade range. But this is a foundation that, please, I know it's expensive, but don't reserve it for a special occasion. I've said this before, every day is a special occasion. Every day that we get to wake up and live our life, it's worth celebrating. So why not do it in beautiful, luxurious makeup? If you have it, use it, because then what's going to happen to it? It's going to go bad and it's going to be money wasted. So if you have your luxury foundations, don't save them, wear them. This one from Dior, Forever Skin Glow, is always going to be one of my faves. Now, another foundation that has definitely made my list time and time again as one of my most favorite foundations. I recommend this foundation a lot, and I recommend it to people of all different skin types, all different ages, skin concerns, what have you. It's a brand that I think is always going to be in my top 10 list, and I'm talking about Estee Lauder and their Futurist Hydra Rescue Foundation. This one does have SPF 45. The shade I have in this one is 1W1 Bone. I think this is a pretty decent shade match for me. And this one, like the Dior, like the Lancome, it just lasts all day. It lasts all day. Actually, no, it's right here. I probably could have gone a shade lighter on this one, but this one lasts all day and it gives amazing coverage. You're definitely gonna get either the higher side of medium coverage or full coverage, depending on, you know, what you think is medium and full, but this is going to provide coverage. It is a beautiful, beautiful foundation. It just looks so smoothing and blurring on the complexion. I've never had an issue with this foundation in how it wears and how it looks at my 10-hour mark, because for me, 10 hours is definitely what I need a foundation to get me. Anything that it has to do after that, so be it. But I know I can rely upon this Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Foundation to get me through a good workday's wear and just keep looking good all day long. There's just something about Estee Lauder foundations. They always provide, you know, a good amount of coverage, and they also provide that longevity that we want. We don't want to be fussing with our makeup during the day. I mean, maybe we have one opportunity to touch up, maybe after lunch, and then that's it. We need the makeup to look good for 10, 12 hours plus. This one, if you have this in your stash, if you love it, leave it in the comments down below. That way others can love it too. All right, so I have two foundations left, and they're both gonna be stick foundations. This one from Lancome. I told you I had another Lancome on this list. This is a Tint Idole Ultra Wear Stick Foundation. Yeah, I have this one in shade 140 Ivory. This one travels with me wherever I go. I love this foundation so much. It's full coverage. It's so easy to travel with because it's a stick foundation. You don't have to put it in that little Ziploc bag and run it through, you know, TSA screening at the airport. This can go anywhere. All you need is a little brush. I prefer to use like a little BK 101 foundation brush to apply this. I don't really like the way this goes on with a damp sponge, but you do you, whatever works better for your makeup application preferences. But I find that I get so long of a wear with this one. It covers whatever I need to. It can act as a concealer, although I typically go in with concealer whenever I wear this one, but it just looks good for so long. Like, that is the main thing about this one, the longevity and the coverage and how easy and convenient it is. It does have like this little brush on the end. I never use this. I think I used it once when I was reviewing it and never again. I stick to my BK Beauty 101 foundation brush. Does the job every time. This Lancome foundation, the stick foundation, is goals. Highly recommend, especially if you're going to be traveling this summer. This is a great one for normal to oily and full-on oily skin. All right, so last but certainly not least is another foundation stick, and this one is from Merit. This is their Minimalist foundation stick. It's a multi-purpose foundation stick, and it's going to provide light to medium coverage. This one I have in the shade Linen, and they actually sent me this in PR. They've sent it to me twice. This is the newly reformulated version, and I love this. And I think linen is the perfect shade match for me. You can see it there compared to the Lancome shade 140 in Lancome, shade linen in Merit. This is a fantastic product that is definitely multi-purpose, because whenever I wear this foundation stick, I take it up under my eye and I use it as concealer. This is going to be that no makeup type of makeup look, but it's going to give you coverage. It's more than a skin tint. You're definitely going to see that it's going to cover a little bit of the darkness that you have under your eyes. It's going to cover redness. It'll cover some imperfections. Some of you may feel you need to go in with a separate concealer. By all means, you do you, but this lasts for a good 10 hours plus on my normal to oily skin. It's just become a new favorite. It's become a new favorite in my stash. I love the packaging on it, really pretty. Merit is one of those minimalist makeup brands, so a lot of the products that they have are meant to be for that no makeup type of look, but this is a good product, and I'm glad that it does give us enough coverage to where we can feel comfortable wearing it on its own if we don't want to go in with any concealer. I think if you have dry skin, I think this is going to work out great for you, and if you have full-on oily skin, I also think this is going to work out great for you. I'm always sure to powder down with both of these stick foundations. I'm always powdering down my T-zone, especially my nose, and that's just what I do. No matter what type of foundation it is that I'm wearing that day, I always have to go in with setting powder. It just really helps to make my makeup last longer. All right, guys, so that wraps up the 10 current favorite foundations in my stash. Let me know what some of your favorite foundations are. Did any of your faves make my list? I also want to mention, if you're curious about this makeup look, I did film it already. It was like a full face trying new makeup from Sephora and Ulta. So this look should already be live on my channel, but I'll have everything that I mentioned in today's video linked and listed in the description box, as well as the makeup that I'm wearing. And some of those links might be affiliate links, so if you do end up shopping through them, I thank you so much for supporting me and my channel. Let me know your thoughts now, guys. What are some of your foundation faves? Let's get the conversation started in the comments down below. I want to thank you guys so much for watching another one of my videos. You all have a great day or night, wherever it is you all are at. Stay hydrated, guys. Drink your water. Cheers. I'll see y'all very soon. Bye.